This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter, and I will welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And today's birthday boy on January the 15th is Drew Brees. He's one of 8 quarterbacks who is actively leading his team in the playoffs, as of this taping, of course. After I talk about Drew Brees, I'll talk about my picks for the divisional round. So Drew Brees was born January 15, 1979. He's number 9 for the New Orleans Saints. He had a successful college football career at Purdue University. Basically, the only good Purdue quarterback other than him was Jim Everett. You could say Mike Phipps, too, but Phipps, I don't think, really made an impact in the NFL. He had set 2 NCAA records, 13 Big Ten records, and 19 Purdue records during his college career. He's still the Big Ten record holder in completions, attempts, and yards, which is amazing. San Diego picked him in the second round of the 2001 NFL Draft with their second pick in the draft. The first pick was traded away to Atlanta for a package of players that included, I think David Boston or something like that. But anyway, that was a huge move. Brees actually earned the starting job with the Chargers in 2002 and made the Pro Bowl in 2004. Sadly, though, he had dislocated in his dislocated right shoulder joint and a tear of the labrum/rotator cuff. Brees wasn't liked for San Diego. San Diego decided to mortgage their future on Philip Rivers, so they basically dumped Drew Brees off as free agency, and New Orleans snatched Brees up. So he's been with the Saints for 15 years. He led the Saints to their first ever Super Bowl appearance, much less championship, in 2010 against the Colts. Since joining the Saints, he's done pretty well for himself. In 2012, he broke one of the most unattainable records in NFL history, which was Johnny Unitas' record of consecutive games with a touchdown pass with 47, if memory serves me right. So basically, you have to throw a touchdown pass every game for 3 seasons. He's led the NFL in passing yards 7 times, which is a record, and passing touchdowns 4 times. 13-time Pro Bowler, Comeback Player of the Year in 2004, should have been in 2006 from that injury, was the Offensive Player of the Year in 08 and 11, and MVP of Super Bowl 44. Sports Illustrated actually gave Drew Brees the Sportsman of the Year in 2010, which is pretty good. So Drew Brees had 2 college offers, Purdue and Kentucky. Now, Kentucky, I guess, was trying to move on from Tim Couch, thinking that, and they're happy they sent a number 1 overall pick to the NFL. Sadly, though, Couch wouldn't pan out. So basically, Brees said because of his highly rated academics, he would go to Purdue. So he went, and he got a degree in industrial management. Drew Brees almost made himself available for the 2000 draft, which was the same draft Brady was in, but he decided to complete his studies. And in that 2000 season, he led the Purdue Boilermakers to big upsets against number 1 Ohio State and a big one over Michigan, en route to Purdue's first Big Ten championship since 1967. Even though Brees threw 4 interceptions, he still beat Ohio State. And the fans went nuts. Thanks to their head-to-head victories over Michigan and Northwestern, which Purdue shared the Big Ten title with, they got to go to the Rose Bowl. Unfortunately, Washington beat them. And it was the first time Purdue got to the Rose Bowl since '67. He looked pretty good in his career and all that. One of the records he had 2 NCAA records. Well, he's tied an NCAA record with the longest possible pass, with a 99-yard touchdown pass to a receiver, because obviously, unless you're in the CFL, that can't be broken. And he actually held the NCAA record for pass attempts in a game with 83. I can't remember who he did, but that lasted till 2013 when Connor Halliday of Wazoo, or Washington State, to the Commoners said. So yeah, so Drew Brees did pretty well for himself, despite the fact that he threw 2 touchdowns for every pick in college. But he was still okay. They thought that he would be a mid to late first round pick, but people were concerned about his short stature for a quarterback, 6 foot, a lack of arm strength, in the sense that he only succeeded in Purdue because of his spread offense. So he was picked in the second round with the first pick of the second round, as I said, and the second quarterback after all, to Michael Vick of Virginia Tech. And basically, San Diego had the first pick, but they traded it to Atlanta, who got Vick in return for the 5th pick, which they got LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. So that was actually a good trade for San Diego. In his rookie season, Brees was actually the backup to Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie. Fuck. Why did he leave the Argos? Brees only played 1 game as a rookie because Flutie had a concussion in Week 8 against the Chiefs. He was actually named the starter in 2002 over Doug Flutie. The Chargers were good. They were 6-1 to start, and they looked good, but sadly they went 2-7 to finish off at 500. Brees had a disappointing start to the 2003 season, going 1-7, and then Flutie came to replace Brees. And a lot of people said Brees' career was in jeopardy because San Diego went with Phillip Rivers in the 2004 NFL draft. Well, actually, the Giants drafted Phillip Rivers, but San Diego drafted Eli Manning with their number 1 pick. And of course, Eli did not want to play for San Diego. So San Diego and the Giants traded their quarterback guys. Rivers unfortunately lost out on the starting job out of training camp, mostly because he held out, and Brees just took from there. The Chargers went 12-4 and did pretty well for themselves. Unfortunately, though, they got shocked in the wildcard round at home against the New York Jets, who then went on to get defeated by Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers in Pittsburgh, who that team lost to the Pats in the AFC Championship game, and the Pats won the Super Bowl. Brees was a free agent and was not expected to come to San Diego. But San Diego gave him the franchise player tag, which meant he has a 1-year contract. So he got $8 million. Brees was eligible to be traded to or sign with another team, but the Chargers would have to receive two future first-round choices. And he was still the number 1 guy. Unfortunately, in the last game of the 2005 season, he tore his labrum trying to pick up a fumble after being hit by John Lynch of the Broncos. So basically, the labrum ruined him. The Chargers offered Brees a 5-year, $50 million contract, which was amazing that they actually decided to give Brees a $10 million. But Brees said that the Chargers were probably giving him pittance, so he basically met with other teams just to see. So the Saints and Dolphins were interested in Brees. New Orleans made an offer that had $10 million in guaranteed money the first year and a $12 million option the second year. Miami wasn't sure about Brees' shoulder and all that. But the doctor said he shouldn't have signed with the Dolphins. The Dolphins decided to trade for Dante Culpepper from the Vikings. And Brees signed a 6-year, $60 million deal with the Saints. Maybe Brees wanted extra years for the Chargers. But this is when Drew Brees was basically at his best. Because New Orleans was through tough times, like Brees in 2005. New Orleans had to deal with Hurricane Katrina, which ravaged the city, made the Superdome into a refugee place, and basically the people who were at the Superdome ruined it and all that. There was a ton of damage and all that. New Orleans had to play home games in Baton Rouge, San Antonio, and even one at Giant Stadium. They were 3-13, and fans were not sure if the Saints were going to stay in New Orleans. However, Tom Benson did offer to find an owner who would keep the team in New Orleans. And thankfully, though, the Saints stayed in New Orleans. Of course, everyone knows about that Monday nighter against Atlanta, their first home game, since the Superdome got refurbished and all that. And how the Saints won. But basically, the Saints were 10-6 and won the NFC South, which was amazing. Brees faced Philadelphia in his first playoff game for the Saints at the Superdome in the divisional round. They were the number 2 seed. That meant that they didn't have to play the wildcard round. The Saints narrowly beat the Eagles 27-24 and advanced to the franchise's first NFC title game against the Bears. Unfortunately, the Bears basically used their defense and home field advantage to crush the Saints and go to the Super Bowl, which the Colts beat them. So Drew Brees did his job, and then of course Drew Brees was basically leading the Saints to the Super Bowl for 2010, and the city of New Orleans could heal in a sense. There are rumors that Drew Brees is going to probably retire. So basically, fingers crossed. His regular season mark as a starting quarterback, 172 wins, 114 losses. He's thrown for 80,000 yards, which is like amazing. The only year that he hasn't thrown for 2,000 yards from was his kind of rookie campaign, 2001. From 2002 on, 19 straight years, he's thrown for 2,000 yards. That's amazing. And his touchdowns, 571 of them. Pretty impressive, huh? Although they've decreased a little bit. Well, the 24 is his lowest in years, but he got hurt, so can't blame him for that. In the playoffs, he's 9-8, and had a chance to make it 10-8 in the divisional round. So he's a Super Bowl MVP, 13-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro in 06, 4-time second team All-Pro, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, Sports Illustrated Sportsman of the Year, AP Male Athlete of the Year, the Burt Bell Award, the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year for contributions to the community, the Comeback Player of the Year in 2004, the Maxwell in 2000, the college one, and 2-time Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. So yeah, Drew Brees is basically amazing. He's a huge Christian. He was committed. When he was actually at church with a torn ACL, I wondered who he was, what his purpose was. But he said those setbacks strengthened his relationship with God. So yeah. And Drew Brees is the cover athlete for Madden 11, which I have, and that's my PS2 Madden game because of all the niceness and all that. Unfortunately, though, Brees has a lot of troubles, especially with the George Floyd protests. He said that he stood by his 2016 opinion that kneeling during the national anthem was disrespectful to the flag of the United States. But several of his teammates didn't agree with that. Brees retracted the next day. But he does have a point in the sense that, kneeling kind of is disrespectful to the flag, but, there's a purpose to kneeling, and that's because of all the troubles with racial tension in the world. So, Drew Brees has done a good job. And now it's time for the predictions. And yes, I have to make predictions for the NFL season. So let's see here. So first off will be the Packers and Rams. They'll play Saturday afternoon. I'm surprised they didn't want to play at night. But anyway, Packers will take on the Rams. Packers are a 6-point favorite. So my buddy from sportsencyclopedia.com, Frank the Tank, says that the Packers will beat the Rams 24-16. I think the Packers will somehow win. I mean, they're at home. They're at Lambeau. There's a mystique to it. And Aaron Rodgers is the favorite to be the MVP. But a lot of people said that, the Rams, good defense against Seattle, but the Packers are ready for them. Bills and Ravens are playing each other. Well, I go Packers. So Tank says Buffalo. They said snows in the forecast in western New York. And Lamar Jackson got a postseason win as the Ravens avenged their loss to the Titans from the 2019-20 playoffs. Bills finally won a postseason game, first time in 25 years. It said that the snow could help take down Baltimore's rushing attack. And Tank says Buffalo. I say Baltimore. I have a funny feeling that Baltimore's defense is going to have to buckle down, and I think they can. I mean, didn't they win a snow game in New England one time? Plus, I don't know. Chiefs Browns. Well, Chiefs are a 10-point favorite. The Browns won their first postseason game since 1994. They said that Pittsburgh. It was basically because Pittsburgh sucked on offense, and the Browns scored 28 points in the first quarter. Cleveland almost choked that away. That was weird. Kansas City's the best team in the NFL and coming off a bye. And Patrick Mahomes should be refreshed. He says the Chiefs are going to crush the Browns. I say the Chiefs will win, but I'm not predicting a blowout. And then Saints Bucks, because everyone said Drew Brees versus Tom Brady. And they say Brees will probably retire. The Saints are 2-0 in the regular season against the Bucks. So basically, you got to go with the facts. I like Tom Brady a lot, but you know what? I have a gut feeling of Drew Brees is going to lead his Saints to the NFC title game against the Packers. What's going to happen after that? Who knows? Who cares? So anyway, thanks for watching and have yourself a good day.